good morning, depending upon your time zone, or good afternoon. So, I'm your host Talal from MyPV, and today the topic for our webinar is a joint webinar between MyPV and a Coastal. So, I have my colleague Reinhard that will be available in the chat. So, during our webinar conversation, you he can answer your questions in the chat as he already sent a message also. So also we have Erich from Coastal, so he will be presenting Coastal product portfolio, how we can integrate together with the Coastal system. So that is the topic for today. So as you know that it's joint webinar, so our agenda would be starting as an introduction to MyPV and as well as to Erich from Coastal, and then moving on to his background, why hot water makes sense to optimize your self-consumption. Energy optimization is a background for this webinar. So let's start. So the picture on the top belongs to our managing director. So he is a CEO, as stated in the slides, that he has been managing director with his extensive experience as a in the PV industry. He started a PV inverter division at a well-known electronics company, and also with his solar thermal he was also a solar thermal director. So with this experience together, he has been over 10 years managing director. And from my side, so from my background, I'm an electrical engineer and I specialize in solar energy from Germany. And over the past year, I have been handling the international sales at MyPV. And in the bottom is Reinhard, that colleague which I introduced you earlier. So he has been part of over 5-6 years with MyPV and handling the product management of our product portfolio with his experience in thermal systems and solar collector systems. So coming on to the next is about us, what we are doing. So we are a Austrian based company in the province of Upper Austria, and we started our business in 2011. So our focus of our business is manufacturing side, and we are manufacturing the accessories devices that are using the power from photovoltaics, and with that power we are doing power to heat, as an example of hot water, or it can be electrical space heating. So you can see the picture of our new headquarters. So this is a reference project by itself also. So more details you can later on we can discuss if you are interested to know how this electrical heated building is more energy efficient compared to its conventional buildings. So these are the products which we will be discussing. So our focus for today's webinar would be the AC products, which are compatible with the Coastal, with first product launched in 2014. That was a DC product, and then likewise with the growth comes new product. So that is an AC LYE, the green one, and the AC Thor. In the coming years we launched this product, and as you can see now, we recently moved into our new headquarters. So I will pass the ball to Eric for his small introduction. Thank you.
So hello to all. I'm not the nice lady on the top. It's my colleague, Patricia Strauss. Unfortunately, she got ill. So I will do the job for her. My name is Erich Köhle. I'm responsible for trainings and servers at Costa. We do webinars and we do live trainings. But because of Corona, it's almost impossible to get out of the office and visit our customers. So I will do my very best to introduce our products for you, what we build at Kostal and what we do at Kostal. You can ask via chat if you want more details. And I have to apologize because my English, I'm not used to do webinars in English, so probably it's a bit a bit difficult to understand me, but hopefully it will be good enough. Thank you, and we will hear in a few minutes.
Perfect. Thank you, Eric. So coming to the reason why hot water and what we can do with this stuff. So in this pie chart, I want to give a comparison that where our solution perfect fits. So there are two types of buildings: old buildings and new buildings. So, and this is a energy estimation for 4-person household for a typical European house. And with that analysis, that comes with it is that the energy usage. So we use a 4,000 watts for daily consumption, that aside from water heating or space heating. So that's the roughly same in both buildings, old as well as new building. And then there's a topic of electrical water heating. So in that respect, the energy consumption is same. You can say it's 4,000 in terms of water heating and as well as in the new building. So it's a clear that my PV products can cater these both portfolio. Hot water, there is clear that we can take that amount, that energy supply can be provided by my PV products. And then the new topic comes about the space heating. So that has to be bear in mind that in the old buildings, the amount required for space heating is enormous, it's gigantic. So compared to the new buildings have more insulation, they have passive solutions. So what comes with it is that my PV is a solution for space heating and hot water for the new buildings. So that's clear. But for the old buildings, space heating is not recommended solution by my PV. So hot water in both the cases, that's perfect to go, it works. And in terms of space heating, it's recommended only for the new building. So in order to start a project, that should be clear that these points should be kept in mind. Then next is about the storage capacity. So in the market where the energy self-consumption or the energy optimization is really important, is a way to enhance your energy capability by using it by yourself. So on the x-axis, it's a comparison between the battery, which is a typical storage device, and then on the y-axis, it's the capacity compared to the battery. And similarly, when you are storing a typical in a battery, which is generally used in the home, is a 5 kilowatt. So with the 5 kilowatt, obviously you can store the energy, but that comes at a bigger capital investment. But nevertheless, you can also choose a hot water storage, and that can be done using by PV product, and you can store with a less amount of investment, more cost effective way. You can store more energy into hot water tank. But one thing to be clear is that we are not directly competitors with the battery. So we are compatible with the battery systems, and our system works in a way that it gives priority to the battery, and once the battery is full, then that power is diverted towards thermal storage. So next comes is a typical heating solution, which is at the moment pretty much normal in the standard house. So what typically is happening is that you are taking power from the grid for hot water as well as for the heating. So you are entirely depending upon the grid. What my PV offers is that during the daytime, of course, you can optimize your hot water and as well as heating by using the power from the sun, and obviously at the same time you can use that power for the appliances that are in the home. And during the night time, then you can also use that power from the grid. So with the my PV product, there's option to use power from the grid also, and that is after the afternoon. So you take the power from the grid during the afternoon, and during the sunshine, it's taking power from the sun. Then next comes out the topic of the self-consumption. As earlier in the previous slides, I was discussing that in the market where PV self-consumption is really important, and customers are looking how to optimize their PV solution. Here is a graph where we can have a look into it. So let's see it in a way that x-axis is about the how big is the PV system, and typically we have a European average of 5 kilowatt system. And with the 5 kilowatt, if on the horizontal axis, it's the self-consumption ratio. So look, bearing the 5 kilowatt system, you have a 30% of self-consumption ratio. And as you can optimize your PV self-consumption with the battery system. So as said, you can store the power in the battery, and you can do it by installing a battery, but the point is that it comes at a bigger cost. So you can increase your self-consumption as high as 70%, but in a way where you find a more cost-effective way. There you can combine your PV system with the my PV product. So looking onto the above PV plus heating system with my PV, you can optimize with less investment, and you can achieve a self-consumption of roughly 80%. But nevertheless, you can combine all these systems together, PV with the battery system and plus hot water. So you can go as high as 90% in this case. And moving to the right side, so here we have a battery storage chart where we have a PV curve, how the PV curve looked for daily usage. So what happens is that up to the afternoon, the battery storage is full. So by the noon, there's no more power to go, and after that power starts diverting to hot water storage. And that's the way how our system gives priority to the battery system and then to the hot water. So but one thing I want to emphasize also is that there are requests that can we do the other way around, so hot water first and then the battery storage. So you can do this technically, but it should make economical sense. That's really important, because you need to see how much is the gas tariff or something like that. Then that solution is recommended, because once you put power into the hot water tank, then you cannot take that power back. But likewise, you can put the power in the battery, and obviously you can take that power from it. So let's move on to the AC product line. So what our product I will be discussing is about our AC product. So what is the principle working for this product is that we are optimizing the PV self-consumption. That's pretty much clear. What happens is next is can be well understood from this schematic, that we have a PV system on the rooftop, and in this case you have a PV inverter from Kostal. So you convert that power to the AC power and use that at home. So that power is being consumed at home, and likewise when if there's a battery system, that surplus power goes to the storage. And after that, power has no other way to go, so that power starts exporting to the grid. So here comes my PV in the picture, and we focus that surplus power which is going to the grid. So we only use that power because that's changing simultaneously in the house, so we are only diverting that power for thermal storage. So here I showed you earlier that we had two products. So the question comes, what is the difference between AC LYE or the AC Thor? So the working principle for both is the same. They are using the surplus power to divert that surplus power to heating. What is the difference is that AC LYE is a combined solution. So the heating element is attached to its electronic head unit, and for the AC Thor, it's a detached unit. So it has a power manager system itself, and any other immersion heater, heating element, or resistive load can be connected with it. So now I will get into detail how this works, how the system looks like. So here is an example from the schematic that you have a PV system on the rooftop. That power is inverted, and meantime that power is being used at home, and likewise the surplus power is sent to the grid. So what we do is we are compatible with the Kostal inverter. It doesn't matter it's with battery or without battery, but the point is that we detect the surplus power with our compatibility relation with the Kostal inverter. So once a power starts going to the grid, we get the information from the Kostal inverter that, hey, there's extra power going to the grid. So we get that information and start diverting that power. So what the unit looks like itself, so it comes with the socket. So that socket can be connected with any socket in the house. The unit itself is a 3 kilowatt power stage. So what it's doing is that, as I mentioned, that the load in the house is constantly changing. At one moment it's 100 watt, and the other second it's 200 watt, because as the load is constantly changing, so do the production of PV power. So only that step control is done with the AC LYE, and in that way only the surplus power is diverted. An interesting reference from the customer where he installed the AC LYE. So he had a Kostal inverter and he combined it with a BYD battery system. So this was a system combined with a battery storage. And since we have a compatibility as a to Kostal PlentyCore, and we can see how much power went into the storage and what power went into the direct usage by the, which is shown in the green. So that's the power which is being used with the AC LYE. So these are the analytics, how we can analyze that. Yeah, the battery stored the energy, which is the dark blue, and then we are directly using for hot water storage. Yeah, some of the technical details. So as I mentioned, that it's a 3 kilowatt power stage. So we are constantly monitoring between 0 to 3000 watt. Our AC LYE and all our products, the AC products, are working in a pure sinusoidal current consumption. What it means is that we are not using thyristors or triacs that damps the grid frequency. So we are grid compliant and our product doesn't cause any harm or distortion to the grid. Yeah, the points that is which boilers you can connect it with. So there's no specific boiler, only that important is that the boiler should have a diameter of 47 centimeter, because the length of the heating element of ACLYE is of 47 centimeter. And likewise, the second important thing is the thread hole of the ACLYE, which is of 1.5 inch. So these two points are necessary to get fitted in any boiler which is in the market. Likewise, next detail is that it works with because it's communicating with the Kostal inverter. So there's a communication of the Ethernet cable. So that's the Modbus TCP going to the router, and then one cable of Ethernet is coming from the Kostal. So that's the way we communicate, because it doesn't have any touch screen or something like that. So the settings are available. How to commissioning those things are carried out on the web interference, and as well as the ACLYE has a live cloud system also. So multiple devices can be connected together in a master slave configuration. So up to 11 devices can be connected together. And other important thing is that there's a backup. As I mentioned, that during the night time, obviously you can, or when there's not enough temperature, you can turn on the backup power. But with the factory presetting, that is already turned off. That can be turned on from the web interference with 2 clicks. Yeah, now I will move to AC Thor. So that's a more popular product from my PV portfolio. So as the working principle of the AC Thor is the same as the ACLYE. So that's no difference. Only the difference is that there's no load connected to it. You can connect it to the existing heating element that's already in the tank. So it gives more flexible options how you want to do it. You can use it for hot water, or you can use it for space heating. So there are customers, they already have a electrical heater in the tank. So those element can be connected with the AC Thor. Any resistive element can be connected with it, and it's also working with the combination with the Kostal inverters, with or without battery. So what happens is that the priority is given to the battery. The set points are set far away, so there is no conflict in between that causes any conflict, that the priority gets the battery, and likewise then the priority gets the thermal storage. So here is my PV power coach tool. So that's really recommended for the customers, that for the consultation, for the sales team, you can design your system. How big is your PV system? If you have EV car, or what is your electricity tariff? How big is your tank? Likewise, how much is the living space? How many people are in the home? And for solar radiation, obviously you change your locations, or different locations are available. And what it gives is a result, that what is an optimal solution for that project, what will be the self-consumption, what will be the saving you will be making an year. So that gives a rough estimation for the material requirement, how much would be, and as well as economical. So it's really recommended tool for everyone who wants to optimize or connect with the hot water system. Yeah, as I was mentioning about this tool, so AC Thor, coming back to the AC Thor, so what is the product itself look like? So it's a really small size, A5 paper size. So that's really small size. Some unique sale point in a way is that it has a color touch screen display. So really intuitive to work on it, to play with it. And what's on the bottom side, so you have a output of 3 kilowatts, so it's the same power rating as 3 kilowatt, which was for the AC LYE. And then you have the RJ45 connection. Here you can just plug it, and moving further to the right, you have Modbus RTU connection. Here you have temperature sensors, so you can connect 4 temperature sensors. One temperature sensor comes already in the box. The bottom picture shows how you get this supply when you open the box. When you unbox it, it's already plugged in. And further on the right side, there's a NONC contact. So depending upon your application, your product, project, it can be as a relay contact, or either as a further 3 kilowatt output. So depending upon how you want to use this output, there are more possibilities to it. So what is other point about it is that you don't need to open any terminal box. Everything is just here. You don't need to open any box. It's plug and play system, so it's really easy to do it. Yep. Some technical specs, so more or less I have mentioned them, and you will get the slide. So you can have the recording, so it's recorded, so you will get the recording also for this one, and also the slides. You can later check out what are the things which can be further explored. So yeah, as I mentioned, that it has a RJ45 connection, and then you can, likewise as with the AC LYE, there was a web interference, so it has also web interference. More settings are available on the web interference, and also it has a MyPV live cloud system. So there are remote settings available from the installer, so you can do all of this via remote control. Yeah, moving next, then there's the big brother AC-Thor 9S. So there's no mistake that the same picture is used. The difference comes on the bottom side. So now there is a input of 9 kilowatts, so it's a 9 kilowatt power stage, and each output is of 3 kilowatts. So output 1 3 kilowatt, output 2 kilowatt, and output 3 kilowatt. What is the question comes, what is a unique point for this? Because there are competitor products. So what AC-Thor 9S offers is that you can choose different priority on the output side. That can be either output 1, output 2, output 3, or in a descending order, like output 3, output 2, or output 1. So 1 to 3, 3 to 1. You can make in that way. So that's a unique point where it gives more features in terms of applications. Yeah, then comes one more interesting reference project. So here we have a AC-Thor 9S, and we are using a hot water mode. So it's a mode 7, which is in a combination with a water circulation pump. So the amount is the NONC contact, which I showed you. That's a way where you use a PWM control, and likewise it's compatible with the Kostal inverter. So on the right side you see a Kostal system with the battery, and in this way the batteries are charged full, and then the power is diverted to this big tank. So this is the way how we get the information or surplus power through the Kostal Planticore, and then that surplus power is sent to the heating. Some technical details on the AC-Thor 9S. So what is important is that it needs a neutral connection. So line to line voltage of 400 volt is must, because without neutral then you cannot connect other loads to it, and that's really important that the neutral connection should exist. What else? So what else, as I mentioned, that it's not necessary to use immersion heater or the heating element from my PV. Those can also be used from other manufacturers, but nevertheless sometimes customer needs a product security, so we are more than happy to provide 3 kilowatt immersion heater and as well as 3-phase 9 kilowatt. Some advantages, so likewise it has you can connect multiple devices, up to 11 devices you can connect together, and our control is really flexible. As you can see, we are compatible with the Kostal system. So now question comes how this compatibility works. What settings do we need to make our system compatible? So obviously you connect it's over Modbus TCP, so you connect both via to the router using the Modbus TCP. Then you go into the web interference, and depending upon, since there are two types of compatibility, one is Kostal Core and another is in a way of Kostal Smart Energy Meter. So you choose that in the control settings, and likewise you put those, you save that setting. And one important thing is that you also need to activate Modbus. You need to activate the Modbus in the web interference of Kostal. So that's a necessary step to activate that, and that can be easily done on the web interference of the Kostal system. So you can do that also on the AC-Thor screen. So AC-Thor has a screen, so you can also choose depending upon the Kostal Core or Kostal Smart Energy Meter. So these are the two options, but one important is that there should be the static IP address should be used from the signal source. So the signal source is obviously in this case is the Kostal system, so that IP should be static, because when there's a dynamic IP address is choose and it's changed over the period or the system gets shut down, then that's the way it cannot get communicated with the system. So it's recommended, it's must to use the single the static IP address of the system. So I guess so the next is all our details are available online on our download center. So in different languages, in Spanish, in English, in German, in Italian. So there are different languages available on our download center, and those can be accessed without any login. So you don't need any login to that. So next I will pass the ball to Eric. So he will be going through his portfolio. So over to you, Eric, without any delay.
Thank you very much, Talal. I will take your ball and I will introduce Kostal now. Hello to all again. I will show a few slides concerning Kostal, the history of Kostal, and then I will switch over to the products of Kostal. I think Talal has told you already what we have to do, how we can connect Kostal to my PV, but I will point it out at the special products I will show later. So, who is Kostal or what is Kostal? Where's the next foil? Okay, Kostal is a family-run business. Yeah, over 100 years old. You see us here. Yeah, and situated in the middle of Germany, Nordrhein-Westfalen. Yeah, and But meanwhile, Kostal is working all over the world in 20 countries, and we have a turnover of about 2.5 billion euros. Yeah. So, what is the main profession of Kostal? May one ask, and I will show you this in the next picture. This one. So, what are the main products of Kostal? The original products of Kostal. Here you see the main part of Kostal. We do produce devices for the automotive industry, for all the car producers all over the world. We do produce mechatronic modules, control units, electronic devices for cars all over the world. We have another department at Kostal, connectors. We do produce connectors. We do produce special machines, test systems. It's a different part of Kostal as well, called Soma. And we do have the industry electrics. That means here at the industry electrics, there we produce our inverters. And we do produce the inverters in Hagen, also in North Rhine-Westphalia in Germany. I will go to next slide. Yeah, and you will see Kostal is not sleeping. We do already electromobility because every second car has a Kostal product in it. It's not concerned directly to electromobility, but we are shaping electromobility with over 1.2 million onboard chargers. We do already produce the onboard chargers, for example, for Volkswagen. Yep, that's normal. So we have a lot of experience in electromobility and also how to charge them batteries in the cars. And perhaps you have heard it. We testing actually a two-way board charger. So, but I think it will last in another year or 2 years bit till it's finished. Let's go to the next file. Yeah, let's go in detail to the Kostal Industry Electric. I've told you already where we produce the inverters. Here you see the inverters. Then we produce the Inverter, we call it in German Inverter, special device which can be combined with electro machines for better efficiency. And we do produce, and perhaps you have heard this in the news, we do produce our own wall box. It looks like a helmet of a alien, but it's a wall box. Yeah, we call it Inverter. I will show this in the last slides. I will switch over to the Inverter especially. Let's go to the next point, which is most interested for you. Here you see the Kostal Solar Electric. We do produce the inverters at Kostal Industry Electric, and we sell the inverters via Kostal Solar Electric. And here you see the products. We have the smart energy meter. Talal has introduced it. It's a smart energy meter, which is able to communicate with MyPV. Then we have the Blendicore or Pico Iq inverter class, which is also able to communicate with MyPV. And on the right-hand side, we have our own wall box, the Inverter called, and that's what we try to sell with Kostal Solar Electric in Freiburg. We are situated in Freiburg, the Kostal Solar Electric. So next file, next slide. We created a new word, Kostalize your energy. Yeah. What does it mean? I will go back to this one. Yeah, we try to keep the energy which we produce with PV systems on the roof. We try to keep this energy in the house. So it's not there's no use to sell it because perhaps you get a few cents or whatever, but it's much more efficient if you use this energy from the roof by yourself. So we use, of course, and batteries, normal batteries, and we have the combination, the chance to combine our system with MyPV, and that's why we talk about Kostalize your energy. We try to keep the energy in the house. We have a slim portfolio, but a lot of applications. That's our idea. And so we go on with the next file. Here are the products which are produced by Kostal or is sold by Kostal. We have a one-phase inverter, Pico MP Plus. It comes in different power classes. We have the next one, a three-phase inverter, Blendico or Pico Iq. Then from the former generation, the new generation, we call it new generation Pico 10, 12 to 20. 12 to 20 means there are different power classes. And now, I think now more than 1 year now, we have the Pico CI commercial inverter up to 30 kilowatt. Then up to 50 or 60 kilowatt comes the CI as well. And in this family, we have the smart energy meter. And this, the task of the smart energy meter is very important. In future, the task for the smart energy meter will increase. So if you have the smart energy meter, then you've seen this with Talat's presentation, then you can talk to the MyPV systems. On the right-hand side, we have the connector. And the wall box, the connector, is also able to communicate with the smart energy meter. Let's go further. Let's go to the next slide. Here you see what our inverters can do, or what for they are built. We have the single phase inverter Pico MP Plus. MP means monophase. So it's a normal inverter. There you see the sign for a normal inverter PV plants. That's standard. That's no news. But this inverter is able to work together with a battery. That means this sign. So we can create out of this normal inverter a battery inverter, or we can create out of this inverter a hybrid inverter. So one string for the roof, the other one for the battery. The same is for the Pico, or for the Blendico, sorry. The Blendico Plus, it's if you get it, it's a normal inverter. That means this one. But you can create hybrid system, PV on the roof and the battery in the basement, and you can create out of this Blendico a normal battery inverter. That's it's very important in our times. We have to store the energy from the roof. We have November. I think it's not the best time for batteries, but I think coming with at February, the thing will change. We will have enough energy to store it in a normal battery. The other devices here, we see the new generation. It's just a normal inverter, and the CI inverters is also are also produced just for producing energy, bringing the energy from the DC to the AC side for different sizes, of course. So what's next? What can the which batteries can be used for the inverters? And especially, I go back because we face these two inverters. So now we have 3 types of batteries which are compatible to our inverters. First of all, BYD. BYD comes with the HVS battery system or HVM battery system. And these battery is compatible to Blendico and MP Plus. Since a few months, we have two different batteries for our inverters, and the battery from BMZ and Nila, a Swedish product, is only compatible to the Blendico class. So don't try to combine these batteries, the two batteries, Nila or the BMZ, to this one. The MP Plus is just compatible to Blendico, to BYD, sorry. That's clear now, and so we try to show the different power classes. Our MP Plus for small installation, single phase. I think it's very common in Europe to install single phase systems. You can create, of course, with this MP Plus, I told you already, a battery system Then up to 10 kilowatt, you can use the Blendicore. For bigger installation, you can use the new generation of, for commercial use, you use the CI inverter of Kostal. Then you can provide the energy for small factories like this. Let's go to next in detail, MP+. I will show you the most important points for the MP+. I told you already, he can work as a normal inverter, he can work as a hybrid system, or it can work as a battery inverter. So what's important to know? Here we have the different power classes. 8.5 up to 5 kilowatt, we have the power classes of the MP+. Ideal for small roofs, and I think it's perfect. So we can do we can create a hybrid system. It's shown here in this picture, and we can create a normal battery system. So you see, we haven't any modules anymore. The inverter works just with the battery here. And what is recommended, or required, not recommended? We need for the battery system our smart energy meter from Kostal, called KSEM, or as we like to pronounce it. I pronounce it in German. And that's it, what we can do. Here we have the system, a hybrid system. We have created a hybrid system with the MP+. You see, the smart energy meter of Kostal is required, and the smart energy meter talks to the inverter and talks to the battery. So the battery management system is enclosed in the smart energy meter. Same situation here. Here we have the normal MP+, but now it's a battery inverter. Just the battery is connected to the inverter, and the same as before, the smart meter from Kostal talks to the MP+ and to the battery. That's very important to know. Yeah, we have two communication lines, and the communication lines has to be built. Next point, Blendicore Plus. Yes, I think a very successful device from Kostal. It comes with three-phase, of course. Here you see the normal situation, Blendicore Plus as a normal inverter, then as a hybrid version, and we have the small brother or big brother, as you like it. We have the Blendicore BI battery inverter, and we have another brother called Pico Iq. You see, we have always the same housing. But it's very important to know, you can create out of normal Blendicore Plus, you can create a hybrid system. Therefore, you need a smart energy meter. Same situation as with the MP+. The Blendicore BI comes just with this with the possibility to work with one battery. The Blendicore BI is not able to be connected to PV modules. It just works with a battery. That's very important to know. But you need a custom smart energy meter from Kostal as well. And the IQ, that's just a normal inverter. So there's two inputs. The Blendicore Plus has three inputs, three different MPP trackers. And that's the situation we can create. Here we have the normal situation, Blendicore Plus, two inputs for the roof, one for the battery. Here we have the hybrid system. Or we can combine a normal PV system with a Blendicore Plus to a Blendicore Plus with battery. And a very nice idea is the energy which is produced here can be used for the battery as well. The Blendicore Plus is able to use the energy out of the AC grid in the house. Yeah, he can detect this energy by using this information of the smart energy meter, and this AC energy will be stored to the battery now. And I've told you before, we have now the dark period of the year. So if you have a second AC source in your house, it's very good for the battery, because you have more fun with the battery. Let's go further. I have to look to the time. Blendicore BI, it's just an inverter for the battery. Yeah. You haven't to do anything. You install the inverter, you combine the battery. It can be the BYD battery, it can be the Nila battery or the BMZ battery, but you need, of course, a second AC source. It can be Kostal inverter, but it must not. Well, it must not is the wrong word. It has not to be. Yeah, you can use engine, an AC engine like this, or different inverter from a different company. It doesn't matter, because the smart energy meter at the grid point detects the surplus of AC energy. If AC energy flows into the grid, the smart energy meter will inform our inverter, and then the inverter will start to load the battery. It's easily system, easy system. Let's face the Pico Iq. Yes, it's just a normal inverter. So if you need an inverter for with two strings for the roof, power class 3 up to 10, you can use the Pico Iq, and it's not necessary that you have to add here the smart energy meter. It works without the smart energy meter as well. But if you have the smart energy meter, you are able to detect your own house consumption. I think that's a very important point now. You want to know, the customer wants to know how much energy he uses or he produces and uses by his own. Let's go to the next foil. Let's go to the Pico 12 to 20. I think I will do this as fast as possible. As normal inverters, we have 2 or 3 inputs, 3 different MPP trackers, and then the next inverter, the big one, Pico CI commercial inverter, is produced for bigger plants. You see, up to 60 kilowatt. That means you need a big plant, you need a big roof. You can use this with the KSAM smart energy meter from Kostal, but it's not necessary. You can use it, but it's not necessary for the function of this device. Sorry. Let's face the next foil. Here you see the Pico CI. It's typical for German. Yeah, we have up to 30 kilowatt. We can install PV plants without any regulations, or almost without regulations. I don't know what's necessary in your country, but normally if you build bigger plants, then up to a few hundred kilowatt, then you can use our smart energy meter, and you need other devices to control the whole unit, to control the whole PV system. So let's face the Kostal smart energy meter. I've told it before, it's a very important device in the Kostal family, because we give more tasks to the smart energy meter. He is able to run a battery. He's able to give information about a house consumption. He's able to talk to the devices of MyPV. So if you have the smart energy meter, it can be possible that you can combine MyPV as well. He is smart, multiple inverter connections, efficient. The dynamic active power control ensures strict compliant, and it's transparent. The data is collected and made available in real time through standard interfaces. So that's the smart energy meter. And at last, I will show the Inverter. This is the brand new product. We introduced the Inverter. It's our wall box at the Intersolar in Munich. It was in October. So now I think it will be available in the coming spring, and then you can use this Inverter, the wall box, for loading your electro car. It's compatible, of course, to our smart energy meter, so it will be able, or it will be possible that you can use the power of the PV plant and use it in your car. Here, the situation, we need the smart energy meter, we have the connector, we have the PV systems, and the smart energy meter talks to the connector, talks to the inverter, and the connector knows then when he can switch on or switch off. Yeah, it depends on how you do the settings. If you want to run your car just with solar energy, then you can do the settings so then that the car will be loaded just with solar energy. Let's go to the next foil connector. It will be shown on the web server of the KSM. The smart energy meter has got a smart web server. Then you will see your here connector, your box, and here some extra service benefits. We have the solar app. It's we have the Pro app for the installers. We have the compatible battery, and we have the connector, and we have the activation code. Let's come to the end. Let's come to the solar portal. It's free of cost, so free of charge. Yeah, you can use it. You can activate the portal in each inverter, so the information will send by the inverter to the portal, and you will see what you are doing. You see the house consumption, you see how the state of charge of the battery, if you have a battery. And if you use the solar portal, you can use this, the app as well, because the database is the same. So if you use the app will use the data of the solar portal and show you how the energy flow is in your house. I will go to this Kostal Pro app. I showed it before. It's for the installer. It's a good device. So if you are at the building site, you are installing the inverter, so it's easily done. You can just use the Pro app. You can take a photo of the QR code, and you can create a service case, or you can activate a smart energy meter. What else? Use this. It's ready to use. You can download it in the normal area, App Store or Google Play Store. So, but the main subject in this webinar is that using energy. And that's my last slide. How we use excess PV energy by Kostal. You see a lot of devices around here, around our inverter. And by the way, the inverter, Plendico or IQ, all these inverters have a self-consumption contact. We can start a load by this contact, for example, heat pump like this, but a smart way is shown by MyPV with the Modbus protocol within the inverter. So that's my last foil. Thank you. I will switch over to Talal.
Yeah, thank you, Erich. That was really interesting. So I guess everyone had interest in this, because from my side, it was interesting from my side. So yeah, I will just end up with the summary. So we have these webinar records you can find on our YouTube channels. You can find different commissioning or installation videos, lead reference projects. So those are available in video forms also. Yeah, you can find our products through our distributors. They are in different countries. So yeah, that's you can check on our website, where you can find a distributor or a wholesaler. Yeah, then of course, as a summary, AC Elva E and the AC Thor are the compatible hot water solution combined with the Kostal. So, and for the resellers or for the installers, direct purchase is also possible. You have my contact as a MyPV contact, and then you will get the contact for Erich also. So if somebody interested with the Kostal system, they can send query to Erich also, so somebody will respond to it. So yeah, we are just finished in time, well in time. So thank you everyone for your participation. I hope you enjoyed. You will have more questions with the slides. You will receive the slides in the time. And thank you, Erich, once again. So for your time, and your English was really good. It's not so bad. So I guess it's well understood with everyone. And have a nice evening and stay healthy. Bye.
Thank you very much to all, and thank you, Talal, for the chance to introduce our products. Have a nice day. Night. Okay, see you. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Empowering the solar future.